Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring the intriguing and often complex placement of Uranus in Gemini. This combination of Uranus's disruptive energy and Gemini's quick, intellectual nature creates some fascinating outcomes, from spiritual teachers to fiery politicians. But does it always lead to success? Let's find out. Uranus in Gemini is a placement where two powerful forces collide. Gemini, the mutable air sign, is known for being quick-witted, curious, and flexible, while Uranus thrives on sudden, disruptive change. But these two energies don't always play well together. Gemini's nature is more about adaptability than persistence, and Uranus's influence can sometimes feel scattered or weak here. But don't be fooled, this placement can still give birth to some powerful ideas and remarkable transformations. Let's look at a few famous examples. First up, we have spiritual leaders with Uranus and Gemini. Take Jesus Christ, for example. With Libra rising, his Uranus influence is incredibly strong, creating a path of emancipation for his followers. His teachings, which were revolutionary and gentle at the same time, show how Uranus and Gemini can express in peaceful yet powerful ways. Next, Swami Vivekananda, with Capricorn rising and Uranus in the 11th house. His doctrines reached a global audience, and his teachings were easily accepted by many, despite the tension between Gemini and Capricorn. Although this combination is less harmonious, Vivekananda's intellectual power and universal appeal are clear examples of Uranus in Gemini's potential. Rudolf Steiner, the German mystic, also had Uranus in Gemini, though his Scorpio rising created a very different expression of this placement. His scientific approach to spirituality gave him the capacity for extraordinary mental feats, despite some tension between Uranus and the Sun in his chart. However, Uranus in Gemini can also create weak personalities, individuals whose ideas may lack focus or depth. Historical figures like George Feth, Alfred Dreyfus, and Marie Bashkirtseff exemplify this. Though their lives were marked by intellectual pursuits, their inability to direct their restless energy often led to failure. But not all stories with Uranus and Gemini are ones of struggle. Take John Burns, for example, with Scorpio rising. His ability to persuade and fight for his cause made him a dynamic speaker and leader. Similarly, Lord Brougham, with Libra rising, was a master of the law and advocacy, using his intellect to shape legal history. Theodore Roosevelt, with Sagittarius rising, brings a fresh example of Uranus in Gemini's spontaneous nature. His quick wit and dynamic speeches were just as much a part of his success as his actions in the political arena. Moving into the arts, we see how Uranus in Gemini can inspire creativity. Richard Strauss, with Cancer rising, blended his deep sensitivity with Uranus's radical ideas, producing masterpieces like Salome and Electra. J.M.W. Turner, the famous British painter, also had Uranus in Gemini, with Capricorn rising. This combination allowed him to marry intellectual brilliance with artistic flair, bringing raw energy and new perspectives to the art world. On the flip side, there are those like the poet Thomas More, whose Uranus in Gemini created challenges. Despite his ambition and early success, his lack of depth in expression and his personal limitations kept him from achieving lasting greatness. Finally, Sir Humphrey Davy, the famous chemist, exemplifies Uranus in Gemini at its finest. With Scorpio rising and Uranus trined by Mars, his groundbreaking work in chemistry was the result of an inquisitive mind and disciplined drive. His Uranus energy was perfectly balanced by his scientific rigor, allowing him to become one of the greatest chemists in history. In conclusion, Uranus in Gemini can bring about fascinating intellectual and creative breakthroughs, but it's a placement that requires balance. When the mental energy is focused and well-directed, Uranus in Gemini produces extraordinary individuals who change the world with their ideas. But when the energy is scattered, it can lead to confusion and lack of follow-through. Thanks for tuning in. If you have Uranus in Gemini or know someone who does, let us know how this energy shows up in your life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more astrology insights. See you next time.